Hey everyone, I'm Jaden.
And I'm Noah.
We are the Super Gamer Bros, and this is the Super Gamer Bros podcast. We're just a couple of brothers who love playing games and love talking about games, so that's what we do. So today, Noah, we are talking about Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween,
Happy
spooky
Halloween.
season.
Yep, certainly. You know, some people don't take their Christmas lights down until March. We don't stop celebrating Halloween until January. So happy Halloween. Today we are talking about Outlast.
Outlast, I think I just said 5 seconds ago, is my favorite horror, standalone horror video game of all time.
Well, you can't have talked about it 5 seconds ago. We weren't recording.
We exist outside of this recording, I do believe.
No,
Well,
we
except for you.
appear.
I keep you chained up so you can edit.
Yeah, that's all I do.
Speaking of chains, you'll see plenty of them in Outlast.
Will you?
Yes, you will. I think Outlast was. I think it was pretty popular, but still, obviously, I'll describe it
Mm-hmm.
for those who don't know what it is. But Outlast is an indie game.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Okay, yep, it is an indie game. It is.
It's
It
made by
takes.
Red
Yeah,
Barrels, who are they're like a Danish studio, I think, or something like that.
I don't know. You can look that up real quick. But
Yep.
anyway, so it's a game that takes place, basically in an asylum.
Canadian.
Yeah, so basically it takes place in an insane asylum that has appeared to have been abandoned. And you play as a journalist.
I mean, technically, it's not abandoned.
Well, no.
Like,
Doesn't it
well,
appear abandoned?
well, it appears
He
abandoned.
thinks the player character thinks it's abandoned when they pull up, right?
You think it looks abandoned, but like in the actual public eye, it is operating.
Okay, yeah, I missed that part.
Yeah, it's just
I thought
very.
it was supposed to be abandoned the whole time,
Yeah,
which is
that's what I
to me
thought
why I was
too.
like, why is it crawling with people?
Yeah, well, I had thought initially playing through it at first, like through early playthroughs of it, I had thought it was abandoned, like it was open in the 50s and had been abandoned for decades. But I think like one of the first notes in the game or something like that, uh it's like it was abandoned in like the 50s, 60s, but then Murkoff bought it and like had reopened it in like 2009 again as like a hospital. So like I think technically it was open, but very much it doesn't seem that way.
Right. So, oh, what I was saying was Outlast tells the story of a reporter who gets a tip from an anonymous informant that something fishy is going on at this asylum. And the reporter goes to investigate, alone, of course. Uh, but when he arrives, he realizes that basically all hell has broken loose. Shit has hit the fan when you walk into this asylum. The instant you get in the building, it is easily apparent that everything is wrong. Is that a good description?
Yeah, I'd say that works.
Okay.
Yeah. So I first heard of Outlast, Noah. I'm pretty sure. I imagine you heard of the same place. It was all the way back in E3, I think 2013, maybe 2012, when Sony was talking about the PS4, like the first E3 like conference. I think the first one we had watched ever, where they were talking about the PS4 and they were talking about like all the different games on it. And Sony at the time was really going all in on their support for indie games and indie developers. And at one point, they had like 4 or 5 indie games like on the big screens being shown off at once, with like people playing them, the different developers. And one of them was Outlast. Uh yeah, they had like so that's when I had first heard of Outlast. And then obviously, it came out like in 2014 and it's a game that I love watching people play that game. That I think like I played it myself obviously, and then I've like watched four different groups of people play through Outlast at like different times since it has initially come out, and just every time is entertaining. I love like I could watch anyone play through that game and it's very entertaining to watch.
I completely agree. The first time I experienced the game, I think I was hesitant about buying it because I personally don't, I don't buy a lot of games. So to me, indie games, like it has to be a really good game for me to buy it because I am usually saving my few games a year for the AAA games that I love. So, but then I had watched PewDiePie,
Oh,
of
yep,
course,
that was the first one that
back in the day.
I watched. Yeah,
I watched him play it, and so I had watched like at least half of the game, the first half, and I was sold, so I stopped watching it and I waited because I was like, I want to play it. But I didn't want to pay the price that it was, so I waited until it went on sale, and then I was scared to play it, so I waited till I had a friend there who agreed to play it with me, and we took turns when we got scared.
yes, you and Zach.
That is correct.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that too. That was because I did watch PewDiePie's entire playthrough because I don't handle scary games well, and back then, we were just in high school. I was even worse than I am now. So I was like, well, there's no way in hell I'm ever gonna play this game. So I'll just finish his uh playthrough of it anyway. And then I watched my second time watching through that game was I watched you and Zach play through it. It was like one night, like just we all stayed up and you guys took turns and beat it.
Yeah, that's classic. We did that with Resident Evil 5 back in the day. That was way old, but yeah, we beat that in one night. Blockbuster Rentals.
Yeah.
Uh, Anywho, yeah, I agree. Like watching Outlast, it's entertaining. You can rewatch it 1,000 times and it's always going to be entertaining. But to me, there's nothing like playing it. I love that emotion, the fear, the heartbeat, the holding your breath, your skin crawling.
I actually replayed through it when we decided this was the game we were going to talk about for a Halloween special in the last couple weeks. I played through it and I got all of the documents and stuff, all the collectibles, just because it's one of those games where a significant amount of the lore is found in collectibles. And it was fun. It was fun. Despite the fact that for the most part, I actually like because of watching through that game so many times and playing it myself, I know like where everything is.
I was gonna
So
say, like, it's not really the same after you've seen it so many times, right? It should be easier to like view as a video game, less as like, immersive.
yeah, but I mean, even then, there were still moments where I was like, hiding, and I'm just like, God damn it, I'm stuck. Shit.
No, yeah, I know exactly what you mean when you're like they're like wandering around and you're like sitting under a bed and you're like, what do I
Yeah.
do now?
Yeah, and it's especially there aren't like I'm not someone who typically plays games with headphones on. I can name two games that I have played with headphones on. Outlast being one of them. But this time, I was playing with my girlfriend watching, so I couldn't put headphones on, and it sucks because with headphones, like directions people are in and stuff, uh, which is awesome. But like playing through this game without headphones, I was like, I can hear this guy walking, but I don't know where he is. I don't know what direction he's in, so I can't
So
leave
you're
my hiding spot.
terrified and you just sit there, yes.
Yeah, I'm
I
like,
know
I
that's
can't.
how I play games with
Yeah,
pages there.
yeah. I'm like, I don't know where he is. I don't know how far away he is. I don't like. He might be in the way I have to go. I don't know. So I'm just gonna stay under this bed for 5 more minutes to hopefully figure it out. Yeah,
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
yeah. But
It's
no,
terrifying.
yeah, it's a fun time. Uh, anyway, so let's get into it. We'll talk about the setting. So the game takes place in Mount Massive Asylum. And basically you're just going through different sections of this hospital. Kind of each chapter focuses on a different section. You start in the administrative block. You work, then you get caught and thrown in the prison block. You go to the sewer, the male ward, the courtyard, the female ward, back to the administrative block, and then finally you end up in the underground lab. Yeah, it's fun.
They're all horrible places. Every time you come into a new area in this game, you're like thinking that maybe this will be a safe area, like a sanctuary where I can chill for a second and nothing bad will happen. And that's just never the case. You know, I'm looking at the list and like the prison block, the male ward, the courtyard, it's all gross. Beautifully designed though.
Oh yeah, no. It's one of those games that no matter how, it kind of goes with the fact of, I guess, me knowing where everything is, what to do, where the layout, the design just sticks with you. It's so well done that, like, playing the game, like in the last couple weeks after not playing it for years and not seeing any playthroughs of it for years, I still was like, okay, yep, this is where I am. I know, like, this hallway leads this way, this hallway leads this way, this is where I have to go. Very memorable.
Yeah, that's just good level design,
Yeah.
and it does a good job of making each area feel unique in visuals or, whatever entities are inside of it. But each one is very well designed, in my opinion.
Anywho, let's get on into the story. So, freelance investigative journalist Miles Upshur receives an anonymous email that inhumane experiments are being conducted at Mount Massive Asylum, a private psychiatric hospital owned by the notoriously unethical Murkoff Corporation. Upon entering, Miles is shocked to discover its halls ransacked and littered with the mutilated corpses of the staff. He's informed by a dying officer of Murkoff's private military unit that Mount Massive's deranged inmates, known as variants, have escaped and are freely roaming the grounds, butchering Murkoff's employees. The officer implores Miles to escape and reveals that the main doors can be unlocked from security control. Moving on, Miles is suddenly ambushed by a hulking variant named Chris Walker, who knocks him unconscious. While incapacitated, Miles encounters Father Martin Archambaud, a self-anointed priest with a schizotypal personality disorder, who claims Miles is his apostle and sabotages his escape by cutting off power to the front doors. Miles restores power, but Father Martin injects him with an anesthetic. He shows Miles footage of the Wall Rider, a ghostly entity killing patients and personnel alike, which he claims is responsible for the asylum's ransacking. Noah?
You want me to do one?
Yeah, sure.
After regaining consciousness, Miles finds himself trapped in a decaying cell block filled with catatonic and demented patients. He escapes through the sewers to the main wards, pursued by Walker and two cannibalistic twins, only to be captured by Richard Traeger, a former Murkoff executive driven insane. Traeger amputates two of Miles' fingers with a pair of bone shears, preparing to do the same to his tongue and genitals. However, Miles escapes to an elevator, inadvertently crushing Traeger to death between the floors when he tries to kill Miles. That's nobody's fault. Miles reconvenes with Father Martin, who tells him to go to the asylum's chapel. Reaching an auditorium, Miles learns that the Wall Rider was created by Dr. Rudolf Gustav Wernicke. That's right. Wernicke?
Wernicke.
A German scientist brought to the US during Operation Paperclip. Wernicke believed that intensive dream therapy conducted on traumatized patients could connect swarms of nanites into a single malevolent being, which is the Wall Rider. Jaden.
Yep. In the chapel, Miles finds a crucified Father Martin, who gives Miles a key to the atrium elevator that he insists will take him to freedom before immolating himself, which is lighting himself on fire. Miles takes the elevator, which descends into a subterranean laboratory. Walker attacks him, only to be eviscerated by the Wall Rider. Miles locates an aged Wernicke, who confirms that the Wall Rider is a biotechnological nanite entity controlled by Billy Hope, a comatose subject of Murkoff's experiments. He orders Miles to terminate Billy's life support in the hopes that this will destroy the Wall Rider. Miles accomplishes the task. However, just before Billy dies, the Wall Rider attacks Miles and possesses his body. On his way out of the laboratory, Miles encounters a Murkoff military team led by Wernicke, which guns him down. A horrified Wernicke realizes that Miles is the Wall Rider's new host. Panicked screams and gunfire are heard as the screen fades to black. And that's the story.
I know that most people probably don't like endings where where the main character dies after so much struggle, but I think it's kind of funny.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought the story was really cool.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, it's like you said, most of it has to be found by digging, but a good amount of it is picked up just from like characters' interactions,
mhm.
and it works because they all like, if you're just like a casual who doesn't really care about the story, these people are just raving lunatics and they're scary. But if you know a thing about the story, what they're saying makes some kind of sense.
I agree. I also think, this is one of those games that it's good enough that like even like the base story that if you don't collect anything, then it's still a good time. Like it's still an enjoyable story. There were actually this like last playthrough I just did of the game where I picked up all the documents and stuff. Um, I learned so much that I didn't know playing through previously that I thought, oh, this is cool. I didn't know this. Specifically, like I didn't realize Chris Walker was an inmate. I always thought he was just a security guard there that like was driven crazy
What
by
the
the Wall
hell?
Rider.
You thought he was a guard?
Yeah, because he's like a big buff dude, and he's like going around talking about containment and stopping everything. Like I thought he was an actual guard that had been driven crazy by the Wall Rider.
That makes sense, but I never thought that.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And yeah, and I remember like one of the notes Miles writes, if you like record him ripping a dude's head off early in the game. In that note early on, Miles talks about like how Chris was saying that he needs to like contain it and stuff like that. And Miles in his note said like, I don't think he's responsible for what's happening. I think he's trying to stop it or something like that, which made me think like, oh, he's a security guard because obviously the people in charge are the ones responsible for this. But no, he isn't.
Weird.
Yeah, so that's just what I thought. But then, going through finding all the documents, you actually find like a patient profile about him and about Father Archambault and stuff. And Traeger as well. That was one that I always thought he was a doctor that went insane, but he was actually never even a doctor to begin with.
What?
He was just like a corporate executive. He wasn't actually a doctor.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so it's just stuff like that like what I thought the story was still was fine to me. Like I still liked it, but then I found out all this new stuff and I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, so it's a good time. I really like the story. Yeah, I don't know. That's all I have to say about the story for now.
It's terrifying. And I never needed it to like have a good conclusion or deeper story. I would, like you said, I was just satisfied with what was there. The
Yeah.
gameplay we're about to talk about is really phenomenal.
Yeah, so I read, when researching for this episode that Red Barrels said they were very much inspired by the gameplay of Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Especially for the fact that like you can't fight back against enemies, which is something that I've never played Amnesia. I think it's kind of more like when Amnesia first came out, it was like all I would hear about. Like it won like best horror game of the year and stuff like that, and certainly like that's all anybody was talking about, especially in like PC circles because it was a PC exclusive game when it came out.
Yeah, I watched it when it came out. I like Amnesia. It's a lot like this, but there's no people to talk to. Everything is just given in papers and it's puzzles and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's yeah, it's like it's the same basic concept, which is why I think it's successful.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I do like you pointed out, not being able to, having no offensive options has a huge impact on I think your feeling as a player, right?
So no, you want to go ahead and talk about the gameplay?
Oh yeah, so in this player or in this game, the player has many options involving walking, running, crouching, jumping, climbing ladders, and vaulting over some objects. Unlike most games, the player does not have a visible health bar on the screen. And like Jaden said, the player is unable to attack enemies. There's no offensive options. Your character never picks up a gun or a crowbar and starts beating mentally ill people. All right. No, the player must instead rely on stealth tactics, such as hiding in lockers, sneaking past enemies, staying in the shadows, and hiding under things like, beds to survive. Alternatively, the player can attempt to outrun their pursuer. If the player dies, the game resets to the most recent checkpoint and you just try that, whatever you failed at again. Most of the hospital is unlit. It's damn near pitch black, like 80% of this game. The only way for the player to see is to use a camcorder that the player character has from the beginning of the game, and the camcorder is equipped with night vision. Using the night vision slowly consumes batteries, and the player has to scavenge for additional batteries and a few other things throughout the asylum. Outlast makes heavy use of traditional jump scares and audio cues, which alert the player if an enemy has seen them. So if you're like sneaking to the exit of a room or something and an enemy notices you from across the room and starts to come at you, the music will change on cue to alert you. Right?
Yeah. And I mean, there's a lot of times where, you get the music cue before you even, you see the enemy. So at that point, you start panicking, looking around like, oh crap, where is this guy? I don't know where he's coming from.
So this game doesn't have many direct actions. In my eyes, it falls just above a walking simulator, but I give horror games a little more leniency for that. And the fact that this game has a camera for some reason really calls to me. You can zoom, you can night vision, or you can put the camera away.
I think it's just a really cool way to kind of immerse the player as well, because you're actually recording it. And I like how it's a game that actually, funny enough, records your playtime, because the camera does actually have a timer counting up showing how long the recording is. It resets when you die back to wherever the time was at your last checkpoint. But for the most part, it's yeah, this is
That's pretty accurate. That's really cool though.
yeah, I think it's just a way to help further immerse you in the game, is the fact that you actual portion of this game is hey, yeah, you're a reporter, you're recording this so you can report on it when you escape.
Yeah, that's a huge detail.
Like you said, it's a great way to make the game work, because obviously if you didn't have the camera and the game was just well lit the whole time, it wouldn't be as scary. If it was dark but for some reason you could still see without a camera, that would take you out of it. It's a horror game that very much heavily puts itself on realism, which I mean, I really do like that. I like, I'm more scared by things like this that are based in reality than something like Amnesia, where you're literally hiding from monsters and stuff, because something like this, oh,
Yeah,
there's
until you get to the wall rider and stuff.
well, even that is a very scientific explanation, because it's not like a ghost, it's like nanites controlled by a person under this hypnotherapy. It's portrayed to be this malevolent spirit, but in reality there is still a scientific explanation to what it is. And
That is
obviously,
cool.
obviously, it is, the most far-fetched part of this whole thing, but it is portrayed in a way that, oh, this is something that could actually, exist.
All right, so why wasn't there a DLC where we got to play as the wall rider?
What? Well, that'd be destroying the whole purpose of Outlast. It's hey, our scary game where you can't attack people? Well, now all you do is attack people and they can't attack you. Real role
I think
reversal
the
for
best
you.
DLC is the juxtaposition.
Name one.
Name one, Undead Nightmare.
I wouldn't say that's a
Far Cry Blood
juxtaposition.
Dragon.
I wouldn't say those are juxtapositions.
Not
I feel
I'm using that incorrectly. I don't know, just two things that are,
like
wildly different, but not opposite.
I guess, yeah, but I don't. Nah.
They still flip the script.
I mean, yeah, I guess. Yeah, it was also really funny. This was, I think, the first game in terms of gameplay that we've done. I'd have to go back and check where, normally in gameplay I have my two large sections for gameplay are combat and traversal. And in a decent number of games I've like deleted traversal as a conversation topic because it like it's not something to talk about like in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, there's not really like traversal isn't really a big aspect of that game. Whereas like in Spider-Man,
True,
obviously
but
they're huge.
we didn't talk about the horrible jump mechanic and how that, like, those challenges can be difficult sometimes.
How about Ninja Turtles?
Yeah.
Well, no, but I'm saying like, I mean that's fine. Like, um, but it's still like traversal itself. I feel like wasn't needed of its own topic. This is the first game I think where I just deleted combat because it isn't a thing.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. I use the term puzzle solving lightly here because I don't know another term that could necessarily describe it. But much of the gameplay, kind of in each section, involves searching a given area for switches or a key or another item of interest to gain access to different parts of the asylum. Yeah, that's pretty much what the game is.
They do a great job of it. It never feels too long or too tedious. And it's never complicated. It's never, like hard to understand.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I think it's very, makes sense. You're never looking for something really weird. Like this doesn't make sense that I'm searching for this thing, and then at the same time, it all makes sense.
Right, you're searching for like a gear for a pipe in the sewers or something like that, like that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, this game, yeah, the game is kind of split in two sections where you have the moments where you're looking for stuff while being hunted by an enemy, and then kind of like transitionary moments where you are just walking around and there are moments in this game because you had mentioned it earlier that like you're never safe, but there are moments in this game where people will not attack you and you're by yourself just going through this asylum, but it never feels like that. Like you never feel safe even when you're in an instance where like I know from playing this game multiple times, watching this game be played multiple times, that in this spot I'm standing, nobody attacks you, nobody will ever attack you. But I'm still like, I don't want to stick around here. I want to move on to the next section because you just don't feel safe.
That's a very good observation.
Yeah, like the only times I feel safe are when I'm in vents because enemies don't follow you into vents.
Vents.
Yeah, sometimes you climb in air vents.
Yeah, that's true. Like a few times, maybe.
Yeah, no, it's not a lot, but it's there. Yeah, that's the game. I don't know, that's pretty much what the game is, and it's fun. I also was surprised when I played through it this last week just how short it is. Like when you know everything you have to do and you know everything is like I think it took me like 2 hours and 15 minutes to beat the game.
That's crazy.
Because I only died I think twice my entire playthrough, so that was not too off in terms of having to reset and losing time. Yeah, it is. I mean, it is certainly a game you can finish in one sitting because I did finish it not in one sitting, but like I did chapter one day, did chapter 2 another day, and then just played through the rest of the game in one sitting. So it's one of those nice one sitting games if you're looking for like, spend an afternoon hating life.
Well, that's really positive for our listeners.
Oh, it's scary.
Yeah, but
Hate
to me, it's a
hating
good feeling.
hating virtual life, not hating your real life. That's just hating the virtual life you're living. Like, man, this guy can't catch a break.
That's true. I actually didn't know that part about the camcorder
What part?
where you can record things.
Oh, the collectibles?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one it kind of tells you in passing, you know. So there are two types of collectibles in this game. There's recordings and documents. Recordings, you have to use your camera, and if you record a specific event with your camera, Miles writes a note about it, and it basically is kind of his thoughts on what's currently going on.
That's
Uh,
really cool.
yeah, there's 31 of each collectible. I love the recordings. They're really cool. The notes are fun to read. It's fun, like as Miles is initially writing. He's very like, he's a reporter. He's very like, thorough, just the facts. talking about stuff like, oh, like I see this stuff and I see this stuff and I see this stuff. Like, man, this place is crazier the further I go in. And then as you get like further on, his notes just like one of his notes is just like, man, this place, it, I hate this place. I can't wait to get out of here.
That's funny.
It's like, and then like at one point, like he writes one note about Traeger where he's annoyed because Traeger cut his fingers off and he's complaining about that. And then after Traeger dies, if you record his Traeger's dead body, it literally he writes a note that says like how to make Traeger juice. Step 1, squeeze, and that's the note.
Damn.
Yeah, it's
That's really
really
cool though. That's
yeah,
like
it's really
an
cool.
immersive collectible.
Yeah, like it very much ties in the immersion of like, man, yeah, you can tell like I hate this. Well, so does Miles. It's really cool. And then the documents, which offer backstory and other expository information about the facility, including pages taken from diaries of patients and reports from the staff. You learn a lot of stuff going on about how patients are treated. You can also, it's funny, kind of like how The Last of Us did it. There's like a few documents that actually do kind of tell little stories. Like there's one story of like a orderly there that's talking about how like, man, like people are being mistreated here. Like this is bad. If like I don't like this, like please transfer me to another section or like I'll be forced to resign and tell the press about this. And then later you find a note from Traeger that's like, yeah, hey, this guy, he is resigning. Also, he's being committed to the asylum for issues, like just how they're, hushing everybody up and stuff.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had no
really.
idea.
Oh yeah, like there are a few like that, and then just like, for example, like Billy, the guy who like is the host of the Wall Rider in the game. Like, what's his last name? I'm totally blanking on that.
Spanking.
Shut up. I'm deleting that. Billy Hope, that's his name. Yeah, like you learn a lot about his story that you don't know if you just play through the game. Like if you play through the game without finding anything, he's just a patient there that for whatever reason is, the subject of this. But you find out like he was admitted to the asylum. His mother has issues. And like he agrees to the testing for Project Wallrider because Murkov had promised to like pay for like his mom's treatment because she was having health issues and like basically like he's doing it to set his mom up financially for the rest of her life. But then as Murkov notes and like things like his mother died, I think it said from like cardiac arrest, which I don't think it's confirmed, but it's very much heavily hinted at that just Murkov killed her.
God damn.
Yeah. So that's like he's like Billy is actually a very sad figure because he was doing this for good. And then obviously there are a lot of patients that like went into this asylum because it's an asylum actually seeking help that now are being abused by Murkov. And there are like like I said, there's that orderly, and there are other like there's one note that a doctor writes about Father Martin, who like is like, hey, like you guys took away the arts and crafts program and his finger painting is really helping with his psychotic episodes. Let the man finger paint, for crying out loud, because he's already getting worse. Yeah, just like stuff like that. It's really, really cool.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, all I remember about the documents, I don't think I read a single one. It's like in every game. I did that in God of War. In God of War, I collected everything and never read any of it. I always collected them all, and I'm like, I'll just like read everything at the end, and then I always forget to.
Yeah,
Anywho.
I very much do that 99% of the games I play through. But when I was playing this, I was like, I'm gonna read them when I get them because I wanna find everything.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah. So
But the only thing I remember about it is the cool animation when he picks them up because he like snatches them.
yeah, he does do that. Yeah, I also like when you open doors, you can like hold square to like slowly open them so it's not loud and stuff. And you can like look into the next room you're going in. But then anytime you close doors, he just slams them every single time.
That's hilarious.
Like like you can't close the door
Boom.
quietly. You press square and he just like, he doesn't even like have his hand on. He literally like grabs like just the edge of the door and just boom, slams it shut. And I'm like, dude, that's so loud. Why are you doing that? There's no way that nobody heard that. But yeah, that's the basics of Outlast, the collectibles. They're fun. There's 62 of them in total, 31 each if you want to be super specific.
That's a lot.
Anyway, notable trophies. This game only has 8 trophies. Really weird. It has more achievements on Xbox.
Some games do. They have more lenient rules. They might not anymore, but they definitely used to.
Sony still does, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do. Like, I feel like the only rule is there has to be a platinum trophy, but there's certainly not a minimum number as far as I'm aware. Um, like there is on Xbox and stuff. But also, Xbox is different for indie games as well. But it was really weird because it's like I've never encountered that. But I know, like, watching a playthrough of these guys playing through it on Xbox, there's a certain point like early in the game where you can like push the elevator button and it makes a body fall down, like a guy's like screaming as you basically drop him to his death somehow. And in the Xbox version, there's an achievement for that. And I did it when I was playing through, and it like the trophy didn't pop, and I was like, well, what's this? Like, what is the game broken or something? Did I miss it somehow? What's going on? Do I have notifications turned off? And I looked, and there's literally just less. Like that trophy doesn't exist, even though it's on the Xbox version. And I don't know why, because I assume the two lists, 99% of game developers, when they make lists, they make the list on whatever console they're making the game on, and then they just copy the same list onto the other console. So yeah, that's really weird.
That is weird.
Yeah, but either way, only really one notable trophy. Lunatic finished the game on insane mode. Now, Noah, insane mode is really, really, really annoying. I do not have this trophy, and I doubt I will ever attempt it because the game has like 4 difficulties. There's like easy, normal, hard, and insane. There might actually even be like a 5th one in between hard and insane called, something like crazy or something like that.
Or very hard.
Yeah, something like that. But basically, insane. So you have like, let's say hard, whatever is right below insane. In that difficulty, you can only carry 2 batteries at once, which is not a lot. Enemies kill you. The like larger enemies like Chris Walker and Traeger kill you in 1 hit each. Smaller like random inmate enemies kill you in 2 hits. And I'm pretty sure you have less checkpoints.
Right.
But don't quote me on that because I'm not sure. Insane mode is the exact same thing, but with permadeath.
Damn, that's hard.
Yeah, so if you die in insane mode, you die, the screen fades to black, and it fades back in, and you're miles looking at the asylum, like when you first gain control of them.
I don't like permadeath.
Neither
I
do I.
say that, but I really felt like an Arkham game, I think, had a permadeath or something like that. And I was
Arkham-
like, I really feel like I could do that.
Arkham Origins does.
Yeah, I really feel like in some games a permadeath is not that hard because you can just master them. But then there's always going to be segments like an awkward jump and then you're dead. It's stupid.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. Like I said, even playing through this game, I only died twice when I was getting on the collectibles, but that was playing on normal, so I took a lot of hits that I just could, that you cannot take when you're playing through on insane mode. I know, like, especially I think before an enemy discovers you for the first time, their patterns, like their walk patterns, are very much the same. So I think you can like memorize that and potentially just run through the game. Like I think I have seen videos of people doing that, like a kind of speed run, I guess you could say. But still, I imagine just the pressure, I would not be able to handle it.
Yeah, no, I would never attempt that.
Yeah.
Insanity.
Yeah, insanity. Yeah, it's straight up
Here's
insanity.
something random. This is a cutaway thing. Did you see the Elden Ring gameplay?
No.
There's Elden Ring gameplay, like 15, 20 minutes of it.
Cool.
It's a walkthrough. It's really cool looking.
Yeah,
it also looks like it has easy co-op.
Oh, interesting. It's the next From Software game, right?
Yes.
And I think it's like George R.R. Martin helped with the story or something.
Christ. He put his hand on something just so, his name could be on it. I don't know what. They haven't said, obviously.
Well,
but
I don't know why he's doing that. It's not like he's busy.
Right. He should be.
Still got 2 Game of Thrones books that haven't, well, I guess Song of Ice and Fire books that haven't come out yet.
Ooh.
And that series is never going to get finished. He is going to die before that's done.
Jesus. You got to cut that.
Okay.
Can't talk about the Martin dying.
Okay.
We'll have hate.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Our viewers will amass in hate.
Yeah.
The 15 of them.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, seriously, man, it's been like
what was I
15 years since the last book.
Oh yeah, so this gameplay came out, and but signed up to try the beta or alpha or whatever, because they had signups, and I thought I would get it because not many people have PS5s, right? I didn't get it.
I mean, that's not true. PS5's already sold millions.
But listen,
Yeah.
I didn't get it, and then I saw PlayStation Access posted a video about one of the girls is playing it because she got it, and I was like, damn it, Jaden.
Well, no, I'm guarantee you one of them got it because they're the official UK PlayStation channel and they gave it to them.
That's what I'm saying. We
Well,
gotta
okay.
be the official Dayton PlayStation channel.
Okay, yeah, we'll get right on that. We'll contact Sony.
That's what I'm saying. You just
It's
gotta
like
contact Sony. You gotta change this to the PlayStation
the Super
Bros.
PlayStation Bros.
Super Sony Bros.
Super Sony Bros. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, we love
We'll get
Sony.
there, right? That's the goal.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I've always said is like, I want to be that person who gets the free copy of something just because,
Yeah, that's
a
the
review
dream.
copy.
Yeah,
That
just
is the
never
dream.
like when we reach a point where we never have to buy a video game again. That's the goal. That's the dream.
Oh, well, I mean, like, that's not really what I'm saying, like, not even a big game. I mean, like, literally, if one single developer out there gifted us their game to review, I would consider us successful in what I wanted to be.
Oh, okay. I'll accept that. Yeah. I'll start contacting indie developers.
No, let's give it another year, actually, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we still got time on that. So let's finish this one,
This year?
this episode.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on. Anyway, so yeah, welcome back, everybody. We just went on a little.
There was no break.
Yeah, we just went on a little tangent there. Welcome back. So this moves us on to our questions. Noah, what is your favorite moments?
My favorite moment has to be probably the end. Well, right before the end when you're like, I'm gonna say fighting, even though we all know there's no fighting in this game. The wall rider, actually like seeing it and being like, oh my god, what the hell is that? And running away, it was just a really intense scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think mine would definitely be the underground lab. Like, one, just the initial surprise of like thinking you've escaped and you're good, and then like the elevator stops, there's the exit right there, doors wide open, and then oh nope, you're still going down, and you go down and down, and then like just the entire thing is really cool. Like you get especially you find document stuff, you get more explanation on the wall rider. You actually find for the morphinogenic engine, which is the thing that I guess created the wall rider, you actually find on a whiteboard, it's one of like the notes that Miles writes where it's just a straight up math formula like, hey, this right here, this math formula is the wall rider, this is everything right here. Yeah, I think that's really cool. And then just the wall rider itself, having to run from it, having to take down Billy, it's a really cool moment.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it because it had a completely different vibe from the rest of the game. You're in
Yeah,
an underground lab.
it's very
It
bright.
still manages, it is bright, and it still manages to be like terrifying, but in a whole different way.
Yeah. So there aren't really bosses in this game, although there sort of are with like the larger kind of enemies. No, do you have a favorite enemy?
Yeah, I do, but I'm gonna say my second favorite one because we share the favorite one, and I'll just
Okay,
let you say that. But my second favorite one is Walker.
of course.
Walker, he's there the entire game. He always tracks you down. This guy, he is determined to end you. And to me, like, he was the main boss of the game because it was like distractions until we get back to him and he's chasing us again, and I knew that from the beginning we had no hope of ever like killing him.
Yeah, no, I mean he's literally the first enemy you encounter he's all the way up until the end when he's killed by the wall rider in the last chapter of the game.
Yeah, see, he lasted a long ass time.
Mm-hmm. Um, yeah, mine and yours as well. Richard Traeger, Dr. Traeger. Man, this guy is just awesomely insane. Like just the way he talks is just so funny to me. How like just nonchalant he is about everything while he's doing all these crazy things. And even like as you're like hiding from him and stuff, and he's just talking about random stuff, and then like he sees you, and you get this huge, like the kind of like scary high note of oh crap, you've been caught, and like he's talking while that music starts, and he's just like oh hang on buddy, I'll be right with you, and he starts chasing you and stuff like that. Like I just love his attitude and how memorable he is, especially for how um like it was something again like with how long it had been since I had played the game and stuff that in my mind he was always a big part of the game and he was later in the game, but you literally like fight him at the halfway point of the game. Like you fight him in chapter 4 of 8 chapters, and especially like if you breeze through that part, without taking too long, like you can do that whole part in like 30 minutes or less, and he's still just such a memorable character from that small amount he's in the game.
I completely agree. And I was gonna say, it's like you said, the thing that sets him apart is he talks a lot. And a lot of the other characters in this game don't talk, or it's like rambling nonsense or like guttural sounds, maybe whimpering here and there, but mostly they're just quiet. It's off-putting in and of itself, but Richard Traeger is memorable to me because he says a lot. And what he says is funny, it's weird because it's funny and it's scary at the same time. And I think it just plays a lot with emotion.
Yeah, no, I agree. What we didn't like about the game, Noah.
Hmm, I'm thinking, you say your thing.
Okay, my thing. I know you had mentioned it earlier. The end. I think there is not a single character in all of gaming who deserved more of a happy ending than Miles Upshur in Outlast. Just with all the shit he went through and everything he had to do, like, and just to have him get mowed down at the end was like, oh come on, man, just like come on, let him have this.
I declare devil's advocate. He got the ultimate win because he became the wall wall rider,
I don't know.
didn't
I
he?
think sort
That's
of,
what that
yeah.
means.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so if we can agree on that, then that means he's not really dead.
I mean, I don't know. I think he just probably wanted to escape and then, make
I
millions off
get
of his
that. You're
story
right.
about
You're right. He
Murkov and
did
go into
not
early
want to
retirement.
become the wall rider, but he was, he was already the protagonist. He might as well be a super powered protagonist.
Yeah, sure, okay. Just,
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
yeah.
The end, that's fair. Like I said, I understand that. I thought it was kind of funny. Just because it doesn't matter. He served his purpose. We're not gonna play. I didn't think we'd be playing Outlast 2, but that's another story. Uh, what I didn't like about the game. Yeah, I guess it's length.
You just think it's too long?
No, I wish it would be longer.
um,
Not like I mean, like, not like 100 hours, but a free roam AAA horror 100-hour game sounds really cool, but that's another game. I'll write that down. We'll put that in our letter to Sony.
yeah.
Uh, we could be video game writers. I've talked about that.
Oh, okay.
Come up with game theory,
Yeah, okay.
have other people design it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
No, but
Yeah, I'll get Neil Druckmann on the phone. He could probably hook us up.
yeah, I
Um,
guess I just do wish it would be a little bit long. Not like I said, not like too much longer, but just a little bit, maybe another couple like Asylum twisted maps,
okay. Yeah,
Or maybe
I
something like a
yeah.
cemetery or something, like something weird.
I can see that. I think like I'm fine with the length. I think making it longer would be very tricky. Like I think it could have been longer and been better, but I think it also could be longer and worse. And that's like, real tough one. And hey, I guess technically you got your wish. Replayability.
Yeah, it's replayable.
Yeah, it's fun. Like I said, it helps that it is shorter.
Mhm.
But no, it's a fun time. Like at this point probably have played it like once every couple of years.
Yeah, like I said, it's probably my favorite standalone
Yeah,
horror game
I
I've
gotcha. I
ever
gotcha.
played.
Anyway, I guess you did get your wish for it being longer because there's the DLC.
I actually never played the DLC. I did watch it and I decided it didn't look interesting enough for me
All
to buy.
right, the DLC Outlast Whistleblower. In Whistleblower, you play as Waylon Park, a software engineer working at MMA for Murkoff. His job entails maintaining the morphogenic engine, which controls lucid dreaming in comatose individuals. After several experiences working directly with the engine and witnessing its effects on the facility's patients, he desperately sends an anonymous email to reporter Miles Upshur to expose the corporation. Oh, but yeah, literally, when you start the game as Miles, he has a document in his car, which is like I think the only document you automatically get, and the file is called Whistleblower, and it is this email that you send as Waylon in this DLC. So then, shortly afterwards, Park is summoned to the Underground Laboratories Operations Center to debug a monitoring system. When he returns to his laptop, his supervisor, Jeremy Blair, has him detained and subjected to the morphogenic engine after discovering his email. However, Park escapes his restraints when the Wall Rider is unleashed. He roams the increasingly decrepit facility as surviving guards and medical personnel flee from the newly freed patients, searching for a shortwave radio that he can use to contact the authorities, all the while eluding a cannibal named Frank Manera who wields an electric bone saw. Just as Park manages to find a working radio transmitter, Blair appears and destroys it. So I will say a quick side comment here. I did not realize, before playing this DLC that literally, like, when Miles gets to the place and everything's to hell, like, that all happened in one night. Like, that's
Like it's
insane.
the same day,
Yes, like, he sends the email and it's literally like
and
this.
then this happens immediately after.
Yeah, like, the DLC main game story all takes place in the course of one night. Like, it is insane. I
That's
just,
stretching it. Like that's on some Arkham level stuff.
yeah, yeah, I know. It is weird. Like maybe there's some time gap there between the email and when Waylon is forced is subjected to the morphinogenic engine. Maybe there is a time gap there where he's like unconscious or whatever. And there is a time gap in this DLC of a few hours later, but like it is all one night pretty much. At least that's very
That's
much how it
insane.
appears while playing the DLC.
That's too much.
Anyway, so yeah, Blair destroys the radio transmitter. And at that point, actually, is the first time in Whistleblower where you were then attacked and have to escape one Chris Walker. Anyway, Park finds his way into the asylum's vocational block where he is captured by Eddie Gluskin, a serial killer obsessed with finding the perfect bride by killing other patients and mutilating their genitalia. Gluskin tries to hang Park in a gymnasium with his other victims, but during the struggle, he becomes entangled in his pulley system and impaled by a loose section of rebar. Yeah, I think Gluskin, also known as the Groom, another one of those very, very memorable characters in
Have you
games.
have you heard about the line?
The what?
The line.
What line?
It was crossed. These people crossed the line.
You're talking about like,
This went this went from fun and a little scary to like, oh, this is gross. I don't what like too far, too far for me. I mean,
but
I don't mind.
you don't like almost having your dick cut off with a circular saw.
I mean, I don't mind it.
Oh, okay.
I've seen some crazy shit in games before, been done just because. but I don't think I thought we were past that, you know? But it's really what it's all about. It's like that Saul stuff. I get it. So I support it, but it's past the line for me personally.
I see. Anyway, I don't know. I mean, I thought it was more like comedic. That like to me, it's something that like it
But I'll
goes
talk
so
about
far.
I talk about the character real quick.
Oh, Gluskin.
As far as the character goes, for me, what I don't like about his character is I kind of feel like he's a rehash of Traeger. You know, they were like, oh damn, we didn't know Traeger was gonna be that popular, got rid of him too quick, blah 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 blah. Or were just like, oh yeah, everybody really likes that guy, so let's make this guy more like that guy, but a little bit different. Yeah, I just didn't like it. I thought they should have just made him completely unique.
I completely agree with you that he is absolutely a rehash of Traeger, but I don't mind it because I like him. I think he is different enough that I'm like, oh man, this guy's insane. I think I think he's very entertaining for the short amount of time he's in there. But yeah, I mean that's it. I think it's fine. I absolutely agree he's a rehash, but I did not have problems with it.
That's what my problem is to me. To me, I read it as like Traeger, but take him 10 steps further, you know, like
Yeah,
cross the line with
yeah,
him. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
well, but why though?
yeah. And I mean, as far as like the crossing the line goes, I found it more comedic than anything. Like with like when you're in a locker watching him like stab a dude right in the crotch, and when you're like on the table being pushed towards a saw. Like I just thought it was like it was one of those things that was so crazy that it's kind of like with Outlast, how I said like I loved kind of how much it aims towards realism. This is one of those things that is like so ridiculous that I'm like, okay, well you're losing it a bit here, guys. Let's this is it's comedic just with how ridiculous it is.
That's fair. So you
Um,
liked it.
yeah, no, I liked it, but
Okay.
yeah, once again, I do think it does push a little too far, but that's whatever. Um, anyway, at daybreak, Murkov's paramilitary division arrives at the asylum, intent on eliminating the variants. Park slips past them and escapes into the main lobby. There, he finds a gravely wounded Blair, who stabs him suddenly, insisting that no one can know the truth about Mount Massive. But the Wall Rider kills him before he can kill Park. Park then stumbles out the open front door towards Miles Upsher's Jeep, which is still idling near the main gates. He takes the Jeep and drives away as Miles, now the Wall Rider's now the Wall Rider's host, also emerges from the asylum. In the epilogue, Park is sitting at a laptop with his camcorder footage ready for upload in order to expose the Murkov Corporation. An associate informs him that it will be more than enough to ruin Murkov, but is warned that they will then seek to eliminate him and his family. Despite some initial hesitation, Park decides to upload the file. I do think, I always thought it's kind of like a dick move on Waylon's part that you're the reason Miles is there. You're the reason Miles dies. And then you steal his Jeep. Like, what a dick move.
And all his glory.
Yeah, pretty much. Like,
You know, he's not even gonna go down in history.
yeah.
Park is just gonna go down in history as the guy who discovered this.
Yeah, it's like just, wow, man. That's cold.
But Miles is a all powerful being now.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and that's also the only time you ever actually see what Miles looks like is at the
And
end
what
of
is
the
it?
DLC. I mean, it's weird because he also looks very ghostly because the Wall Rider and stuff, but like, the entire game's in first person, you never actually see Miles. Uh so like that's the only time you actually see his appearance, which is interesting.
Well, I mean, like my memory of the Wall Rider is like a humanoid fuzz.
It's like humanoid skeleton kind of fuzz thing. Yeah, I can agree with that. But when like at the end, when he's standing on the door of the asylum, it's the Wall Rider, he still has that kind of fuzzy appearance, but it is Miles' appearance.
That's
Um,
cool.
yeah, so like I said, it's the only time you ever actually sort of see Miles in the game, which is cool. But yeah, I mean, gameplay wise, it's the exact same, just shorter. And like you said, it kind of is a rehash, but I don't think it wasn't a big asking price for the DLC, and it's I mean it's a fun time. I enjoy it. But anyway, that's the DLC, and that's Outlast.
Great game.
Great, great game. Um, I don't know. You have anything else to add about Outlast?
No, I guess if you like scary games in any sense, you should definitely play Outlast.
Okay, I can agree with that. So now, it's time for the indie bit, the bit where we talk about indie games.
Yay!
Today, we are talking about Layers of Fear. Noah, I believe you bought Layers of Fear.
I did buy Layers of Fear. I
Uh,
think I had literally just finished playing Outlast, and I was like, oh man, that game was awesome. I need more scary games. And then I realized there's not that many, not that many good ones, you know. But Layers of Fear, I'm sure you're about to spiel, but I thought it was one of the better ones for sure.
better ones?
Yeah, one of the better horror games available.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to give a synopsis?
I mean, you can give a synopsis.
Maybe because you don't know it.
I mean, I can tell you the gist of the game.
Okay. Well, yeah. Basically, the synopsis is you were playing as this artist who he was like in the like Victorian era, England, I think maybe. I don't know. I don't think it's ever specified. Basically, you're in his home, and he was an artist who, had glory days of his past, but hasn't been, he's kind of been going insane, and his paintings aren't being sold. He's poor. His wife left him. Actually, that's not true, but that's what I assumed at the beginning. I don't know how much I want to talk about the story without giving away like spoiler stuff like that. But yeah. So basically, he's trying to finish this masterpiece. And that is the purpose of the game. Is you're basically finding what he needs to finish his masterpiece, as he is also just slowly losing his goddamn mind. Excuse me. The gameplay, I suppose you could say this game is a walking simulator. As far as if that's what you want to call it, I wouldn't call it that. But Layers of Fear, as I did research when I was playing through it a few years ago on Halloween times, is heavily inspired, like the developers heavily inspired by PT. So it's basically like a full game version of PT, if everyone remembers PT. I myself never played PT, but I played Layers of Fear. But basically you just like are traveling through different rooms, sometimes interacting with stuff, and you have to find these tools needed to create his perfect painting. Noah, did you like Layers of Fear? I assume you did.
No, I
All right, I
actually
thought
did
so.
not. Oh, okay. But you just said that you assumed that I did.
Yeah, I didn't.
Oh, but anywho,
I just remember when I first played through it a couple years ago, I just mentioned to you, "Oh yeah, I'm playing through Layers of Fear," and you were like, "Oh,
yeah, I mean, like I like these kind of games in theory. I liked PT, but I like it for other people. I like that other people enjoy it, but I personally do not. I don't like doing the same thing over and over again and having it change a little bit, and it's kind of the same shtick where the environment changes around you and it's meant to confuse and, you know, uh,
scare."
yeah, scare. And to me, it just gets old kind of quick. So like when I first started it, I really enjoyed it. But then when I'm like a half hour or an hour into it, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm good.
Okay, I can respect that. I did like it. I obviously I played through it. My biggest complaint about it, which is something that I think anyone can potentially relate to, is that the ending. The game has multiple endings, which is fine. It has like the good ending, the bad ending, and then what I guess you could call the loop ending. Um, and the difference between those three and how you get them is just insane. To get the looped ending, which is like the standard ending, if you play through the game blind, that is the ending you will get. I am sure of it. But then with the good ending, to get it, you have to, one, find every single collectible, which some of them are really well hidden, and two, like, you can't ever die in the game. Like it's one of those things that I did get the good ending, because I did actually 100% complete this game, got all the trophies. Like, and it's something that, like, literally I'm following a step-by-step guide that's like, okay, when you enter this room, the collectibles here, then exit through this door, and then go back. As soon as you enter this room, just turn around and leave. Don't walk any farther in. All this stuff. And it's like, my God, it's just so, like, intricate that I'm like, praise, like, applause to the person who did this without a guide by yourself. I don't know how you did it. It's just insane. And yeah, but I mean, the gameplay's fine. Like, it was fine. I do think the voice acting, because the artist you play as is there is voice acting. It's a little weird and out of place kind of feeling. Like, admittedly, I thought the voice acting, anytime there was voice acting, was kind of a distraction. But I thought the concept was cool, and yeah, that's it. I just thought it was fine. Yeah, that's I guess that's all I have to say about it. And now it's time for the indie bit, the bit where we talk about bits of indie games. Noah? No, I can't hear you. Noah?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, yeah, you didn't laugh at my joke. I got concerned.
I'm sorry. Wait, wait, I'm sorry. There was somebody knocking at my door and I was checking it. What was your joke?
I just said now it's time for the indie bit, the bit where we talk about bits of indie games.
Oh, wow.
Because this game had DLC.
What? I thought it had a sequel.
No, it does have a sequel, but it also had DLC.
Oh, God. That's the DLC.
The DLC is called Inheritance. Basically, you play as the artist's daughter, going through, like, the decrepit ruins of the house, like, 20 years later. And that has, like, a good ending, a bad ending, and a hidden ending. I did get all three of those endings. And as well, like, it's very much the same, very intricate.
You're a tryhard.
Yes, I am. No, I think the DLC I actually enjoyed more than the original in terms of gameplay, because the DLC, one, it was a bit harder, because two, it was way more open. Like, there are parts of this game where you are literally just all out in the very open, where you have to find, like, all of these collectibles. They're not, like, you need them for the game, I guess. They're not collectibles, but you have to find a bunch of these different items, and it's very much like you do what you want. You go wherever, and you can find them in any order you want. It doesn't matter. And yeah, I mean, that's it. It's, whatever.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm assuming you didn't play it. It was fine. I liked it overall better, I think, than the original game. Just because it was a little bit different. Because I had to play through the original game, like, I think 3 times or something, because getting that perfect ending is just very crazy. But yeah, the DLC, obviously it's way shorter, so it was, like, way easier to go through. But yeah, I did like it was more open. It was a little more different, compared to, like, the original.
Interesting.
Anyway, Noah, what's our next indie bit game?
The next indie bit is Shovel Knight.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's almost like we've been playing it for a while.
Whoa, that's crazy. So yeah, next indie bit is Shovel Knight. That's exciting. I'm excited to talk about Shovel Knight.
Good. I don't know. I walk away from it with a gross feeling in my stomach.
What, Shovel Knight?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll edit that out.
Oh.
Anyway, I don't know. I don't want to give too many opinions before we talk about it.
No, I'm just kidding.
You shut up.
Oh.
Anyway, yeah, don't forget, new episodes every other Monday. Rate and subscribe. Tell us if you like our show, or tell us if you don't, and tell us why. Tell your friends and enemies about the podcast. And you can go ahead, follow our Instagram, the Super Gamer Bros, for updates on episodes. And you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Super Gamer Bros, all one word, every word capitalized with a period at the end, if you want. I mean, so far, it's just all of our episodes are on it. So it's just, I guess, if you prefer watching slash listening to the podcast on YouTube versus podcast service, then that option is available to you now.
One day soon we might have other stuff on there though.
One day soon, but yeah, I guess if you want to see us do other stuff, also subscribe to our YouTube channel. I don't know, Noah won't tell me what he has planned. Yeah, so subscribe to that. And yeah, we'll see you guys next game.
Bye.